Lights are on, the sun is out. We're ready for a Thursday afternoon, another Thursday here in Miami Gardens at Gulfstream Park West. Jason Blewett, Ron Nicoletti joining you on this live edition of Gulfstream Park West today. Little late race card, my friend, on this second Thursday of the meet.
Yeah, and the big news, of course, they hit the Rainbow Six again yesterday. Somebody's dialed in, or a bunch of people are dialed in, paid almost $20,000.
Yeah, just over $19,000. I was thinking of trainer Carlo Vaccarezza, and congratulations once again to Carlo for getting that 100th career winner at GPW last weekend, and hard at work at aiming for 200. That was career W 101 for Mr. Carlo. And we'll give you a little rundown here on this fast and firm October 11th as to what's on tap. And, well, shutouts across the board. 50-cent early pick 5 in the first. The super high 5 with no carryover gets underway in race number 2. And once again, Henrik Lundqvist in goal, my friend. The big O on the board there in the Rainbow Six.
Yeah, the Rainbow Six. But if you saw the payouts before it was hit on yesterday, during the week before it was hit the last week for $48,000, it was paying like $3,000, $4,000 every day. So it's a good wager. Even when we're starting anew, there'll probably be enough money in here to make a good score in the Rainbow Six starting today. So make sure you do your handicapping.
Yeah, that's undoubtedly as we wrap things up and we go full circle like we always do with that 50-cent late pick 5. Kind of a South Florida early bird, as we like to call it, on these 8-race cards, late pick 5, because it begins not very late at all in race number 4. But I was thinking, I mean, you got about 19.4 in the Rainbow Six, and considering they had just hit it, I mean, 20 G's in just a matter of a couple of cards. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, we entered the day with $4,700 in the pool yesterday, and it went up to, like you said, it paid $19,000. So they are playing, and it's a good wager. And that's the point we're trying to make. Everybody says, oh, I'm not playing until it builds up. You can score a nice price early on.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, now let's try to get a score here early on in the opening pick 5 on this October 11th card. If Ponte Real didn't have the rail, I would absolutely, and I still pick the filly by Gio Ponte, who's 1-2 currently in the wagering. I hate the rail for her. I really don't like it at all. And because of that, it's a tough draw. I got to go 3 deep here. My single comes in race number 3. We're looking at a real favorite, well-connected, the big pedigree. I'd imagine that the number 6 double medal is really going to like the extra yardage on the turf.
Yeah, you know, one of 4 fillies in the field, and double medal certainly looks like the logical choice because it's Jonathan Thomas. He's been doing fantastic.
Yes, he readies. I know Catholic Boy missed a scheduled workout a few days back as that horse readies for the Breeders' Cup Classic and perhaps in early 19 a Pegasus start right here at Gulfstream Park. 4th race is my kind of crew, my friend. That is one of the highlights on the program. I'm 3 deep there, and I pick players' luck like you. What concerns me with him is the pace. He's going to have to likely run hard from the opening bell, my friend, and that could be his undoing.
Yeah, and he ran well a couple of starts back when he won, so we'll see if he comes back. You know, I went a little deep when I put my Rainbow Six ticket together in that particular race, too.
And 2 hot fillies coming into the second, a combined win margin of nearly 17 lengths last time out for Gabrielle Elizabeth and Sammy Sunshine in the second. I'm using both of them. So it's the first race. It's Gilberto Zerpa and Amisael Jaramillo. And by the way, the GPW opener this Thursday is a 2-year-old filly, $16,000 claimer over the fast main track at 6 furlongs. Here's Ponte Real. We know it's a wet track race that we're about to bring you from late August, right around Travers week. In fact, I think this was Travers week. You were up in sunny Saratoga. We got the reins over at Gulfstream Park. She did everything right. Again, though, I just dislike that crummy inside post for her.
Yeah, it's tough going on the inside post with these young horses, and you're right. It was a sloppy day that hit that afternoon here. That was the only sunny weekend they had in Saratoga, I think, for the whole meet.
You brought some good weather, Ronnie.
So here's this horse, just winning impressively, but I was like you, so instead of putting that horse on top, I went a little different way, and I went with another horse that you had on your ticket, and that's the 4. It's My Lucky Charm, who's stepping up to face winners, return for the layoff. He defeated those 25 maidens in driving fashion. Want to show you stat on Ed Plessis Jr. with 2-year-old maiden winner last time out on the dirt. He's 5 for 22, 23%. He's in the money 50% of the time. $1.40 return of investment. I think these are the logical 2 with the 1 and the 4. And if the 1 runs back and gets away from the rail, okay, as you can see, the 1-2. Absolutely the 1 to beat.
Yeah, she is the one to beat, and if for no other reason, and she's okay, clearly judging from her first 2 starts. I mean, she is the one to beat, I think, because you've got that imposing shadow of Gilberto Zerpa just hanging. I mean, really blocking out the sun on this field because, I mean, he's close to 50% on the year. We'll see how the trip goes for her. Here's the second on the afternoon as we venture over. In fact, we'll stay on the main track. Our first turf race comes up in race number 3, but it's an all-dirt early double as we have this 3-and-up filly and mare, 2 lifetime claimer, and a kind of a rare situation here, Ronnie, in the sense that both the 2, Gabrielle Elizabeth, who we picked on top, and the number 5, Sammy Sunshine, are both exiting very dominating victories. Like I said, you add up their combined win margins, you're talking about 17 lengths. We like Gabrielle Elizabeth coming right back.
Yeah, it's stepping up and stretching out to 3/4 of a mile today after returning from that 5-month layup to crush those field of $10,000 nom-winners of 2 lifetime claimers. Won that race by almost 10 lengths. It's Oscar Gonzalez, who we really like a lot in his training ability, and he has Ron O'Donnell in the saddle going for 2 in a row this afternoon. I was just totally impressed with that performance. Put that one on top.
She had shown some promise, thrown to the wolves, laid up, comes back, dropping class, new trainer, with all due respect, an upgrade, I think, in the training department, and all that worked out really nice. And I thought the rider, who I was very unfamiliar with, did a good job. Even though he was on a Cadillac, don't get me wrong, he didn't look like a very inexperienced rider. Pace might be a little different for her, and I'm wondering if Sammy Sunshine gets hooked up with Gabrielle Elizabeth, if that's why you've got her rated so far down in your super, and you're going for the 2-3 with Trapped at Sea.
Yeah, Trapped at Sea will be making her first start since rallying to come within the nose of defeating those 30 claimers in a race move from the turf to 5 furlongs. That was on that fast track. I just thought this one would sit a nice trip behind the speed in there, so that's why I put this one in second. The 5 I was not really sold on as much as I was with the 2 horse in there, Gabrielle Elizabeth. And the other horse we both used in third on a ticket, Bristol's Brook, moved to the Peter Walder barn after the claim, cuts back to a sprint on the dirt. So we'll show you a stat with Peter doing that. First start after a claim, horse is going from turf to dirt. A limited sampling, but good. He's 4 for 12, 33%. He's in the money 58% of the time, and he's got a $3.08 return of investment. So Peter Walder, it's one of the angles I like with Peter when he goes to turf to dirt. So we'll see how this horse runs this afternoon.
35 days between starts for that gray filly by Speightstown, who also has Jeffrey Sanchez. There was a single call on today's card with jockey Nick Juarez riding, or supposedly riding, but evidently the word is Nick had some ankle surgery, some minor surgery. Hope he's doing okay and on the mend, and you'll get Jeffrey Sanchez riding the 4, Bristol's Brook. As really as we flip the page, it's all about beginnings, Rainbow Six, opening turf race, all that and more after this.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet. Sign up for an ExpressBet online betting account and receive up to a $500 sign-up bonus.
Here we go. It's week number 3 of the Stronach 5, 12% takeout, $1 minimum. And keep in mind, last week paid more than 5 times the $1 win parlay. We've got some of the best minds here at the Stronach Group, some of the best handicappers in the game, formulating an all-star ticket just for you that totals $72. The action gets underway Friday afternoon with that opening leg, race number 7 at Gulfstream Park West. Best of luck.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that third round of the Stronach 5 tomorrow afternoon all across the country. And good to see Gulfstream Park West having not 1 but 2 races in the sequence, both of them on the turf in a rundown of races, Ronnie, that shapes up very competitive. 59 entries before scratches.
Yeah, and both Gulfstream Park West races are turf races with full fields, which you would expect, so makes the handicapping fun. We started off with that leg you see there about 4:34 p.m. I went 3 deep in that race, and I think it's going to be a fun sequence throughout the afternoon, and as you always mention, and you should, 12% takeout.
Can't go wrong with that. 5 times the $1 win parlay was the week number 2 payout of nearly $1,200. We had about $100K in the pool, hoping for another big handle, and want to thank everybody who's played the Stronach 5, obviously newly minted thus far in the first 2 Fridays, writing a new chapter throughout the country tomorrow afternoon, beginning with that 7th race at Gulfstream Park West. And we begin as well with the group of Florida-bred 2-year-old maiden special weight runners. Our opening turf race, Ronnie, are you singling double medal here on the stretch out?
I am not singling double medal because I also like the 4 Vow to Recover in this race, who comes out of a key race, and you know I'm a sucker for those key races, so I did go too deep in here with the number 6 double medal. Would not be surprised if everybody singles that horse, but I'm going to use Vow to Recover in here. My long shot today comes in race number 6, and it's the 5 Love Conquers. Always liked this horse, 10-1 on the morning line. Stakes place son of Salute the Sarge, finished a respectable 4th last year right here in the 75, showing up. Coming back off the layup for Ron Spatz, really was good in 2017. Miguel Vasquez will be in the saddle, so I like that one. And my best bet of the day comes in the last, and it's a horse named Completely Bonkers. And don't look at me when I say the name of that horse, Jason.
Can't help
Completely Bonkers. So there's my ticket, $28.80. I did not hit it yesterday, but somebody did with some really good handicapping.
Yeah, just under $20,000 for a 20-cent minimum bet. That's pretty darn sweet there. And we begin anew with no money in the kitty there, if you will, in the carryover. Now, 7.5 furlongs, our opening turf race. The grass listed firm this sunny and clear Thursday at GPW. And it's not every day, as good as the Florida-bred 2-year-old program is, and we've got a number of promising runners, including obviously well-defined in Cookie Dough. Not every day you see a Florida-bred youngster in a race like this buy a $250,000 stallion in Medaglia d'Oro. That is certainly the case here with the number 6 double medal, and we'll look at this daughter of Medaglia out of a Tapit Dam in her last start on August 19th. She ran fine, and she has run fine on the turf. She hasn't blown anybody away. She's lost a couple of races in fairly tight finishes and close margins. To me, though, this start we're looking at back on August 19th was nearly 2 months ago, 7 weeks ago? So she's had some time to maybe grow up and progress a little bit as a Medaglia d'Oro filly, and I think that pedigree, clearly, Ronnie, is just, she's going to relish getting to run on the turf beyond just 5 furlongs.
Yeah, stretching out to 7.5 today, and as we mentioned, absolutely want to be, but I did use the number 4 horse, Vow to Recover, on my Rainbow 6 ticket, who's debuting on the turf first start since she finished in the middle of the pack, went 5th, but it was behind a trio of next out winners. So it was that key 5.5 furlong state-bred maiden special race. It was on the main track. It's a daughter of Broken Vow. She's certainly bred to respond favorably to both the surface and the distance. I just wanted to make sure I had some coverage. Don't want to get knocked out in the first leg, but I'm sure a lot of people are singling double medal.
And Elizabeth Doble, setting out the 4 Vow to Recover, did pick up a $30 winner, or close to $30 on yesterday's card on the turf to boot, off a layoff. That was Indy Gita with Miguel Vasquez, who upset a decent field, to say the least, in race number 7. To the 4th we go. We flip the script. We're on to the opening leg of the late pick 5, and this opening cast here in Thursday's late 5 is my kind of crew. I know the venue has changed, and we're no longer at Gulfstream Park until early December when we start the championship meet, but these 6250 claimers are as tough here just as they were over in Hallandale Beach. Starship Apollo may trip out. I feel Player's Luck, who's the 5 in this opening leg, is the most talented horse, even at this stage of the game, even with his layoffs and all that stuff. I'm just a little worried that he's going to have to run extremely hard from the bell, and I also wanted to use the 7 Skoda Scare, who may get the best trip of anybody, tracking in the clear outside with Paco Lopez. My single comes in race number 5. Silver Threads has good dirt races and a very hot trainer in her corner in Larry Bates.
Yeah, I got to put a line through that last race when the horse reared at the start, so we'll see how Silver Threads. I went with Blue Whale in it, just trying to get a little bit of a price there. With really been impressed with the way this jockey Hector Berrios has been riding.
Yeah, he's brought home bombs, native of Chile, represented by retired Hall of Fame jockey Jose Santos. The 6th and 7th are excellent. In my eyes, they are hands down the deepest races on the card. You'll get the 6th on the turf, very competitive 30 to 25 claimer. Might be a little light in the 7th race. race. I just didn't want to blow up the ticket, and I see you've gone in a different direction, Ronnie. I'm 5-7 there, using Oscar Gonzalez with Royal Holiday, inhibition for Biancone, but you like Manolette, who's got some good races on the go-back.
Yeah, Paco Lopez rides today. Just comes out of a really good race. Even one of the horses had a race won here the other day. So just thought I'd go that way. But that's the wide open race on the card for me.
Yeah, that's about as good a dirt race you're going to come across on a weekday here at Gulfstream West. And too deep in the finale, that race unquestionably centers around JR's Holiday, who dips again to 12.5. He doesn't have much early speed. In fact, quite the opposite. And Completely Bonkers is the main danger. And you get a sense, or at least I did, Ronnie, today's go time for Completely Bonkers.
Yeah, and that would be why I made that horse my best bet. But I couldn't leave the JR off the ticket because that's one of my favorite horses. Now, he hasn't won since, I think, 2016 because he's always compromised by the pace, but it's his lowest level, I think, at 27 races.
Yeah, he's never run this cheaply for 12.5. And I did stop by trainer Safi Joseph's barn this morning on my way over to GPW, made a little pit stop at Gulfstream, and tweeted out a little 40-second stall video of JR's Holiday, who's a very friendly horse, looks terrific, and is obviously a very big contender and legit favorite here in the nightcap against Completely Bonkers. But that is then, and this is now in race number 4, and Player's Luck is the starting point, hands down. And here's his last start, or this is 2 back for him, in fact, his last dry track race, which also was a victory. He's a game horse. Boy, he's got a big stride on him, big son of Midnight Loot, who's had some issues sticking around on a regular basis. Question is, does he have to really roll from the get-go here? Will horses be taking runs at him from the bell, like Skoda Scare? And let's not forget on the outside, the 8 sounded the taps really fast.
I just think at this level, because it's going to drop to the $6,250 level, this horse is the boss in the race, I think, even pace-wise. And that was my thought process. You know, to follow that score you just saw now about 12.5 over the 12.5 condition claimers, comeback didn't run on well on that sloppy surface. Georgina Baxter, Edgar Zayas at the controls today, and just thought he was the best horse in the race. And I think even if they look him in the eye, maybe he can hold off those rallies. And but a horse like Skoda Scare, when you saw my ticket, had to be on my ticket.
Yeah, he's obviously one of the 3 I have in this opening leg. He's going up. This is a different ball game for him off a blowout score, first off the claim in his most recent for Armando de la Cerda. And we got to give a little love and acknowledgement to the number 3 Starship Apollo, who amazingly, and I say this as a, as a compliment, I'm amazed he's only 5 because, and I've only lived down here a year and a half. It feels like he's run way more than 33 times, and he's way older than a 5-year-old. But the fact that he's been claimed 14 times over the last year and a half, I think tells you a lot about his constitution.
Yeah, if you cruise down his past performances, the last time he won, it was by 4.5 lengths, was at this level, March 24th. So they got him spotted pretty nicely in here.
Yeah, I stopped by the other day and spoke to trader Brett McClellan, and he said, you know what, the time's right. We tried some better horses with him. They're just a little too much, a little too good for him, and should run really well, needless to say, for 62.50, and might get claimed for the 15th time in about 2 years, dropping in again for the low level here at GPW. Here's the 5th on the day, main tracking it. We've got some 3 and up, Filly and Mare, 2 lifetime claimers. I like that you disagree with me because to me, Silver Thread's the 3, and Memorize, I didn't know where else to go. I viewed it, I really do and did, as a 2-horse affair, but you're right next door.
Yeah, Blue Met Whale is stretching out to 7 furlongs after shipping in from across town to finish a 5-wide second, going 3/4 of a mile here. It was just last Wednesday. Jaime Mejia's got Hector Berrios handling the short turnaround, and I just thought I wasn't sure where to go, looking for a little bit of a price. Silver Threads, as we mentioned, going to the Larry Bates barn, reared at the start and basically was pulled up in that race. It's a daughter of Union Rags. You look at her past performances, clearly does her best running when sprinting on the dirt.
And Larry Bates quietly doing an excellent job, bringing home some okay prices. And for Larry, a rare claim. We don't see him claim all that often. Silver Threads, the favorite here in race 5. 6th on the day, This race, the 7th, are excellent. I mean, from front to back, wide open races. Now, as far as this crew in the $30,000 to $25,000 claimer, I knew we would have a couple of disagreements up there. I'm going to take the number 6 horse in Blue Harbor, who's going to need to work out a trip. I do believe he is more than good enough, even at this stage of the game, for $30,000 to win a race like this. He's a snug fit for trainer David Fox. He does, and this is the caveat with him, he does like to plod along early, and with that, susceptible, traffic, slow paces, etc.
Well, there's enough speed in here, I think, to really help him out. That's the reason for me putting him in second. You can see the speed in that race. One of his uncoupled stablemate, the number 2, Don't Overlook. So I just think there is pace for Blue Harbor. And as I mentioned when I was showing you my Rainbow 6 ticket, the reason I went with my long shot today on top, the 5 Love Conquers. Stakes place, here at Gulfstream Park West in the $75,000 showing up last November. Returns from the layoff today. We captured that form, hoping to recapture that form. Just thought he was the class of the field. But he's got to come off the layoffs. What I liked in addition was Miguel Vasquez, and of course I'm looking for a price. When all things are being equal, number 6 Blue Harbor I thought was the one to beat too. And then I used the 3. Are you talking to me in third as you did, but trying to get a little bit of a price with Love Conquers.
All right, 10-1 off the bench. Miguel riding for another Ronnie, Ron Spatz there. Ron Nicoletti's long shot on the day. Let's move on to the 7th here. Last race today on the main track. We'll go 2 turns at 1 mile with this $50,000 optional claimer, and there's a good amount of back class in this race between the likes of Gray Bow, your top pick on the outside, and Manolette, who's going off the claim for Steve Clasaris. And let's not forget the improvement throughout the season on the dirt for my second horse and your second horse, the 5 Royal Holiday. And I like the company. I picked the 7 Inhibition. I really like the races and horses this horse has been tangling with, like Weiser, Red Crescent, Apostle, and even Bel Tapiserie just a few days ago.
Yeah, I didn't use him on a ticket. I'm going to go back and take a look at that. I can understand, this is a good level for him, but I did go with the number 8 horse in here who moved to the Steve Clasaris barn. Boy, that barn was really doing well last week. Makes his first start since failing to fire, but it was a monster key race during July that produced 4 next out winners from 7 starts. So it was a while back, but one of those horses that won a hookup, won a 16 claimer here last Friday, Paco Lopez in the saddle. I just thought maybe go with a horse like that on top of my ticket. And Royal Holiday, we both have in second because this is a nice horse. He's going back to the main track. He returned from the layoff. He stalked the pace, and he weakened on the turf, and that was the $75,000 Bear Den. Want to show you a stat on Mr. Oscar Gonzalez. Horse is going just from turf to dirt, all levels now. He's 12 for 58, 21%, 36% in the money, and still has that positive return of investment of $2.40. So Royal Holiday, Manolette, a little bit of a guess on my part, and Gray Bow in second. But going to check your 7 horse out.
I think he's going to pull a good trip. Inhibition and B and Cohn's horses have been running well. Take him in a real scramble in the Thursday 7th. And one more last call here, race number 8, as we close things down on this 8-race October 11th. We've got some $12,500 turf claimers battling 1 mile, and a horse, a former stakes winner so long ago during his 3-year-old season, the number 2 JR's Holiday, who's coming out of an okay effort. We'll bring you the race he ran in on August 18th for trainer Safi Joseph Jr. and was full of run and just was able to get untracked a little too late in those red and pink silks there, the number 6 horse in the second race on August 18th. I do like that Flow Motion came out of this race and absolutely annihilated a pretty good group of turf claimers, and I've got no qualms with Billy Big and how good that horse has been of late for Juan Arriagada. I think this might just be the right field to snap that lengthy 3-year winless streak. Yeah, those 13 races. And as I mentioned, and this was one of my favorite horses when he first started out. Just thought he was really nice. We mentioned he stakes plays. JR's Holiday on my ticket. But as we mentioned when we were putting our tickets together, we think the race goes through the number 6 Completely Bonkers, making his local return for Georgina Baxter after returning from about an 11-month layoff to duel for the lead and fate to finish 5th behind a repeat winner. I thought it was a really good rate, escape velocity. That was that open claimer at the $10,000 level. So I just thought this horse, off that performance, was the one to beat. JR's Holiday, I'm rooting for him. Yeah, I know you are. In the case of Completely Bonkers, though, he's the main danger. He's got more speed. Second back off an 11-month layoff. and they wheel them back 13 days after that return race. So you get a sense they also replaced the bug and they put Paco on. I mean, what other, what else do you need really there? That horse sitting on a big race there for 12.5. Is this a two-horse affair, though, wrapping it up?
Well, we both have Modern Tail on a ticket, and this one is making his Gulfstream West return, actually. He's had 3 races here with a win in the second. He returned from a layoff. He finished third. He was beaten 4 lengths. I thought it was a tough group of 16 optional claimers. Want to show you a stat, and you mentioned Elizabeth Dobles a little earlier. She had a nice win yesterday. She's we're going to show you a stat on her. Second after the layoff on the turf, 3 for 16, 19%, 38% in the money, and a positive return of investment. That barn has been waking up over here at Gulfstream Park West. So it is a two-horse race, but Modern Tail's got to be on your trifecta ticket, I believe.
Sounds good, my friend, as we are about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, give or take, before springing the latch in the Thursday First on a fast and firm afternoon at Gulfstream Park West. We'll take a little breather, catch up with everybody, say 10 minutes or so before the first. Pete Aiello standing by with those scratches and changes.
Tis Robert Charles broke his maiden at Gulfstream Park.